So, here we go. Hello and welcome to the Boise State Esports Arena. It is week 5 of the PEC Overwatch season, which means the road of the regular season is nearing its end and playoffs are just on the horizon. The Broncos, still vying for second place, need to watch out for the team snapping at their heels and ready to put on a show tonight, Syracuse. Now, here to call all the action, my name is Audrey with Eric on desk as we get to watch the next of the line of awesome rematches that we have been able to see at the end of this season on the road to Las Vegas.
This is going to be a lot of fun because if we look back in fall, there were 2 teams that were able to take us down. That was Kansas and Syracuse. We got revenge on Kansas. Now we need it on the Orange.
Yeah, you know, I'm a big fan of all of the home games that I've been on so far are these rematch matchups. It's such a big deal right now because as we're looking into this season, seeing where you're going to land shows how much of the big dog you're going to be in Las Vegas. And that is an exciting thing to be able to watch. But as we are getting to get ready into the action today, if you are ready to continue to enjoy more Boise State Overwatch team, if you do want more, of course, obviously you answered yes. So let me direct you to the Boise State Overwatch social media pages. Go ahead and scan the QR codes or go to the Boise State OW on X and Instagram. You'll get updates, schedules, results, and even fun content from the team. Who doesn't love fun content from the team? Give us a follow, show the Broncos your support. That's Boise State OW on X and Instagram.
Now, as we get into the recap coming in versus Minnesota, this was a fun one to watch, man. I really did enjoy this because we got to see some of players we don't get to see as often, like Slick Rhodes, as you see right here, putting on a pretty good performance. We got to see more of the combos that make Boise State so recognizable in their play style. Both Strider and Clear working hand in hand. That Vendetta Wrecking Ball combo is oh so deadly. And on top of that, it wasn't just that we got to see. Minnesota agreed to a show match immediately after. 5 new characters are now unleashed onto Overwatch. We got a preview last week, Minnesota agreeing to play all 5 against us playing all 5. We taking the better of that exchange. But now, tournament legal for the PEC are these 5 new heroes.
Blizzard is insane right now, going, what if we just add 5 more characters to the mix, all the abilities, all the crazy ultimates, with all of the changes, too, from the start of the season. It's just such a crazy thing to be able to witness. But as we continue to look forward, we are going to get to look at the standings as of this week. And as we were teasing, Ohio State is currently the high-ranking team right now. Boise State and Utah currently vying for that second place, as mentioned, with the current matchup today, Syracuse being the one holding down the 4th place position. So this is kind of going to be a hectic area for us as the Broncos are going up against Syracuse this week and Ohio next week. So these are some crazy games up in the higher echelons of the rankings right now. And as we get to look forward, we do get to see next week, once again, mentioning those matchups right now, we see Ohio going up against Utah, the other team that we are contending with second place for. So this could be the matchup that kind of shakes things up for second place, depending on if Utah can find the win. And with Minnesota and Baylor going up, that will be the kind of closing out for this week.
And what a hype week that we have right here. I mean, there's so much really that's on the table across these 2 top matches that you see, Syracuse versus Boise, Utah versus the Ohio State. Ohio State, they could very much lock in first place if they are able to take a win right here, right now versus Utah. And of course, Syracuse looking to play upset and take Boise down. The Broncos not going to go down without a fight whatsoever. They want vengeance. They want to take down the Orange. So big implications with those 2 top matches.
Yeah, and of course, we've got to shout out our awesome players who are going to be looking to create that upset here for our Overwatch team. We have got quite the roster ready to jump in and get into the action today.
Jonathan Foraker, Cannon Miller, Carter Jones, Will Hess, Mark Thana, and of course Doc Haskell leading the Broncos, leading the charge for what the best they're able to bring. But of course their opponent's going to be the Orange.
Yeah. The Orange is going to be Lucas Stolman, McKinley Kuberski, Harris Levinson, Jackson Phillips, and Ben McDonald. And of course, I do want to shout out because it did not appear on the roster when we were going, but also Jenny Cummins for the team as well, as we do have a lot of players on the Overwatch team. But of course, one of the most important things about Overwatch is how the players choose to play, and that, of course, is a good way to do it, is the keys to the game. And in Overwatch, when they are unprepared, objectives are greater than kills. Take fights in unexpected places and play what you are good at. Doc's keys to the game are brought to you by Blue Ribbon Painting. With over 90 years of combined experience, they are proud to be Boise's go-to team of local, multi-generational painters who know how to level up your home. Visit blueribbonpainting.net.
Take fights in unexpected places, I feel like, definitely defines a lot of what Boise State do. Usually, that combo we're talking about, Vendetta and Wrecking Ball, it's been tried and true throughout, pretty much Vendetta hitting Overwatch so far. And what we see is they're able to take these high angles, they're able to kind of maneuver around the map and catch enemies at bad times, dive onto them, split enemy teams apart. They've done it in so many different instances. I'm sure they're looking to continue. We saw that last week a lot against Minnesota, and it's been one of the kind of defining strategies of the Broncos playbook.
A big thing to call out. And of course, as we're continuing to get ready, want to give another shout out to our players, one of them being Clear Top 500. Great thing to be pulling out. And these are specifically our seniors, Jenny, in the Grandmaster with 4 of the championships. Just get to highlight the incredible career of these players. Lyric being the next one. Once again, all of these players have been with us for so long through so many championships, showcasing their skill and all of the effort that they have put into the game.
Yeah, Maxwell rounding it out right there. 4 seniors. It's a bit of a bittersweet moment because so much history has been had with these 4 players and what they've been able to bring for this roster. But that's the thing about collegiate esports, right? You're only here for so long before you do have to move on. But the accomplishments that these 4 players have been able to make with Boise State have been amazing.
Yeah, don't remind me. It's crazy to think
I wonder
how
why,
long.
huh?
I know, I wonder why.
I wonder who else has...
Who else? Yeah, I know. If you're wondering how to identify the seniors currently on the stage, well, I can give you a little thing, because I have one too, courtesy of Jenny Cummins, Daydream's mother, just to give a little bit of a celebration moment and showcase that, yeah, all of us are graduating this semester, ready to go and jump out. But we're still here for today because we want to get into these awesome matchups, because this is what we're here for, you know, the fun of the game.
It's not the end of the road yet. It is nearing.
It is
the
nearing.
semester will end soon enough, but right now we got to enjoy what we got. PEC, it's not over. We still have this week, and then we have next week where we'll have the Ohio State. That concludes the season. Playoffs with the finals taking place mid-April in Las Vegas.
Yeah, but although those finals are nearby, we are still here in the arena. And one thing I want to shout out right now is how big the crowd is right now for this game. Love to see a full arena with people here to celebrate these teams. So as we're getting ready to jump into these matches, do not be afraid to get loud, get excited, and use those cowbells. That's what they're there for.
Hey, we have these highlighted home games for a reason. We want people to be part of the audience, enjoy the atmosphere that is collegiate esports. You get free pizza alongside that, so, you know, free pizza always going to be a good persuasion tool. But at the end of the day, it still is good esports. This is one of the top teams when it comes to the PEC in Overwatch. And you're about to see kind of a work of art right here, and the type of play that they can bring, especially against an opponent as competitive as Syracuse.
Yeah, this is going to be an exciting matchup. You know, we have, like we said, you know, they are 4th place, but they have still contended against the Broncos in the past. And so with that in mind, you know, you can always expect some random variables, just moments, communication being key to make sure that you can really lock in that win. That's absolutely what the Broncos want here, and what Syracuse does as well, because they don't want to let this slip from their grasp. This is an opportunity at one of the current top 2 teams. So, like, in the roster, they're vying for that 2nd place. If I was Syracuse, I'd be wanting to try and find a way to throw in some extra chaos.
I mean, I'll give credit to Syracuse. They have an amazing program over there in Syracuse. They're in the state of New York. They've been able to bring up some good talent. We saw that yesterday with the Rocket League game that we had, where they almost got us in a 3-0 sweep. We were able to reverse sweep them, and they got the better of us back in the fall season. One of the things that's going to be different this time is we didn't have Clear in that matchup. He's a phenomenal DPS. He brings a lot of identity to this team when he's playing alongside Strider. So I think it's going to be a different look from the Broncos this time. I do anticipate that with that combo, we are going to be able to get the better of them.
I would not be surprised. It has just been such a crazy combo to watch on screen. screen. I mean, anytime we swap to Strider or Clear, I'm just like, where are you? What are you doing right now?
What are you doing?
Like, where are you? And then he jumps in, and you're like, oh, that's why. That's what you... Never mind. I will not question the master.
I mean, we have seen ups and downs coming from this combination. One of the ways that some teams have gotten the better of kind of the way Strider maneuvers around the map is if Strider goes in a little bit too early, before the engage that the team's able to take on the front line, because then it allows the enemy team, in this case Syracuse, to focus you down, take you out, and now you're missing a tank. And when you don't have that tank disrupting the backline side, then it makes it very hard for the Broncos to actually fight. So working through some of those like communication, some of those calls to go in, it's something we kind of heard from Amanda before in previous interviews. That's Diamond Dog, who also plays for the squad, does play that tank role as well. Communication is key when you're a tank. You have to know when to go in, and you have to be able to communicate that on priority targets with your squad.
Yeah, I don't think it's always easy to tell when you're just watching a game, especially when you don't have the comms or can't see what the players are doing, how important that communication factor is. And that's actually a great point because, you know, there's a reason we have the rules tank, DPS, and support, right? And normally, when you're thinking of a tank, you're thinking of the person with the massive shield walking at the front of the team, blocking all of the damage. But in the Boise comp, yeah, right? You think of Reinhardt, the classic tank. But in our team, the tank isn't there. They are not dodging or like avoiding any of that. That is all on the DPS and supports to get that. And so that communication becomes even more key because if one piece gets knocked out, the dominoes will just go. And so I think that's part of what has made this comp so potent, but also very scary to run. But the Broncos having that familiarity means it is all the better for them if they can pull it off. So as we're getting ready to jump into our first matchup, we do get to see our bans as well as the map that is going to be Samoa for Control. And sure enough, we see a Vendetta ban. Yeah, we were talking so much about the comp and it right out the gate, wanting to shut that down. Always, you know, a good strategy when you know what your opponent wants to do to try and find an angle.
Yeah, there's still other ways to get around. I mean, when you take away the Vendetta, it doesn't mean Clear is suddenly locked out of the game and can't play. Vendetta's still a new character. Clear was playing characters right before that. We've seen Clear on Tracer before. Got a little feisty with Farah last week against Minnesota. So there's plenty of stuff that Clear still has in the wheelhouse that can follow up this Wrecking Ball and work in tandem.
I mean, you make a great point. Wrecking Ball has been out so much longer than Vendetta. It's not like this is a new comp. It's just a more, I think, complemented character for the comp, just with how Vendetta moves, using the sword, throwing it into the air, jumping after it. But it's not the only aerial character, not the only fast character on the team. And, you know, that's a big part of competitive Overwatch is just because one character gets knocked out doesn't mean you don't have another character you can use. And that, you know, that's part of what makes a team, you know, strong, is their adaptability, which is something we've seen the Broncos do time and time again.
Yeah, and I know we've put in a lot of tension onto both Clear and Strider. I do think we have to give credit to some of the other members, especially Hex. Last week versus Minnesota, he played phenomenal. Had so many kills he was able to pick up. Plays really supportive. Also, Slick Rhodes and Maxwell are two that know how to facilitate the battlefield. We don't get to see Slick Rhodes all the time. It's usually Maxwell who's going to be in. And what Maxwell's able to do, I mean, we saw a lot of it when he was playing Soldier 76. I believe that was 2 weeks ago, where he's able to set up kills. He just plays out there and gets as much DPS as he can out, and that enables the battlefield to be kind of pounced on by the rest of the Broncos.
Yeah, and it does look like we have our second ban. Looks like, you know, we were talking a lot about tanks. Tank gone for the teams here as we get ready to jump into the matchup to go. Control on Samoa here. This will be the opening match to give the teams just a moment to figure each other out, see where they're going to go, and this could be a big tempo setter for this game. It is a best of 5, so we could be here for a while, but quick momentum game here can mean a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not expecting this to be a short game, to say the least.
No.
I'm expecting this to be fought tooth and nail between both teams. Our Broncos definitely know how to fight. They know how to adjust. Doc Haskell puts a pretty good mindset into them when it comes to having to fight from behind. That might not be the case with Clear being in here. They might be able to really get a dominant lead going. And I would definitely call them a pretty momentum-based team. So I'm curious to see how the early stages of this go, as we're already ready to battle.
Yeah, and I mean, that's exactly how we want it to go, back and forth and have a fun brawl as the Broncos are the first to get onto the point here. Strider hiding behind sightlines, looking for that opportunity to move in, not able to quite find it, but gonna jump in now, knocking all the players into the air, creating that disruption that the Boise State Broncos are looking for, and taking out 2 players with a combo of clear, now a third. Trades going back and forth, but Syracuse down 3 to Boise State's 1. Not enough just yet. Need to find the tank, but Maxwell is looking for it. D.Va goes down, now just on her own, no mech to save her, and that is going to be a Bronco control point.
And that's a lot of what we talked about, Audrey. We talked about how disruptive this Wrecking Ball can be, and the Tracer that Clear pulled out, getting pick after pick after pick. Early control coming out for the Broncos.
And with that, they now get to create a little bit of momentum, take a breather, back off. Strider already in the mix, though. Clear on the backup here. Not wanting to let them get onto the point, but not wanting to get picked off themselves. Hiding, trying to go in that mirror matchup against Azer. Once again, back and forth. Strider just holding the line, continuing to look for those disruptive moments as the supports Hex and Lyric just keeping everyone healthy and in the fight.
You can see right now Clear having some trouble kind of maneuvering around, finally going to jump forward onto this D.Va. We'll have to recall. Gets not the pick you were exactly looking for. Lyric falling, that's going to be a tough loss right there. These Tracers are oh so big when it comes to this battlefield. You can see the stick not finding its target. High Noon already going to be used. So fighting back is going to be Syracuse. They got control of the point.
Yeah, great use of Deadeye opportunity, but the Broncos just going to reset. Not deterred right now. Still early into the point capture. Anything goes. Now as Syracuse starts to pull up, the Broncos looking for their next opportunity with Clear jumping into the backline as you would expect, trying to find those supports and get rid of them if possible. The rest of the Broncos moving in. Mirror matchup of the Tracers once again. You're going to see that a lot. Both of them want to get rid of those nasty extra players here, and we see the Cassidy goes down in the corner trying to get the heal, but it's not going to go through. Axel is down, but the rest of the players are up, just trying to find that opportunity, and they do find a way onto the point, looking for that control.
Sound barrier doing a lot of work for Syracuse right here to keep control of this point. Boise not going to be dissuaded whatsoever, though. They have a sound barrier of their own to throw out pretty soon, and now the Broncos finding positioning onto the point, not able to capture it. Instead, Strider's going to have to back off and look for the regroup. You need your support up. Now that Hex and Lyric are able to get back into it, the Broncos are on the attack.
Jumping in! Sound barrier from the Broncos side as well. Going to take a play out of what Syracuse was doing, but use it to create some more momentum onto the point here. Ultimates back and forth. Both teams looking for that sustainability to be able to contest, but the Broncos are ultimately able to find it here, looking for that cap. Lunar holding strong here. The Broncos know who they're looking for. Ooh,
nice.
With the support down for Syracuse on that side, that is going to be hard to keep up. Lunar just does not have the health. Is that another Deadeye I hear?
Yeah, Deadeye being used. This one's to create some space, though. Lyric still is able to pick off the D.Va. That's excellent right now. Just overtime going in late. Down 2 is Syracuse, so Boise have a chance to get control back, and that's exactly what they do.
Exactly what they needed there. Did not want to let that go through. It was now or never, and the Broncos do find it. And of course, now that
Strider.
momentum has been gained, well, this is what we were talking about. What are you doing, Strider? Where are you? But we see the
He's just
plan.
chilling.
He's just chilling. Don't worry about it. Syracuse, it's no worry. No worry. And there it is right there. Ball dropping down. Strider able to create a little bit of a surprise here. Clear sneaking through the black line. Once again, you know, tried and true story here on this matchup.
Oh, he's being
Seeing the
sneaky.
supports, trying to be sneaky about it. Hex
Yeah, he's got
does
stick.
go down. Ooh! Almost got the knockout there, but does create some surprise, needing a little extra healing. Now at 70%, the Broncos are still holding on, but Strider alone here in front of quite a few players, does get hindered, but is able to find the knockout. Overtime is going to go through, just barely holding the point. Maxwell gets the touch to keep it going. Oh, this could be the knockout. We see Maxwell just sneaking in and out, sneaking in and out.
Yeah, he's going. He's moving.
Oh, he's been found, trying to stay alive for as long as possible. Sees Lunar. Once again, it's not. Oh, no. Finds it. The Broncos just holding on as long as they can with their revive. Strider tries to find that disruptive option, but it's not going to go through. And although we got the quick momentum early on, Syracuse able to lock down the point, but we're not done yet. We still got another part of the map to jump to.
Yeah, credit where credit is due. I do think Syracuse used some of their tools pretty well. One of them was the Deadeye. Sometimes it's not about getting kills with the Deadeye, it's just creating space, getting them off the point to make sure you can capture it. One of the things that Boise didn't really have an answer to was that Tracer. What you have on Syracuse's side is usually when you have that Cassidy, you're looking to try and stun grenade a Tracer. I do think Clear maneuvered around that pretty well and was able to get kills on Mac in a pretty solid way, but ultimately enough, it wasn't going to pay out for at least this first round. It's not to say the Broncos are out. Things are going to change up as we head into round 2.
And that is the big thing. You don't want to let a 1-point advantage get you down, and we see that here. Boise State switching up the strategy a little bit, and we were talking about maybe seeing the new characters. Here we are, right off the bat. Strider going up against Lunar, but Lunar using that tank durability to Syracuse's advantage here. Broncos need to reset, but as we saw, taking the point first doesn't always lead to the victory. Just take it slow and look for that opportunity, and that's exactly what they are doing right now.
Yeah, Strider trying to make the most of that Domina, but the first push not going the way of Boise State. Second push is starting to work out, though. Maxwell will be able to get 1 kill, but the pressure is applied by Syracuse. They're down their Cassidy, and low is the Kiriko all the meanwhile. The Broncos have a chance to push in.
Ooh, Maxwell getting the freeze onto the Diva, now gone. So much durability lost on the side of the Orange, and now Broncos going back and forth on this contest, but have a lot more room to work with. Strider using angles to advantage, and with the ice wall up from May, creating a lot of extra breathability. The Broncos take the point.
Yeah, good take. You found the picks you needed to. Mac went down, Azer went down. Those are priority targets right there, especially Azer on this Tracer. You've gotta not allow Azer to maneuver the way he wants to. That Deadeye gonna go out once again. Broncos still holding down, but here comes the charge of the Orange.
Diva going for the knockout. Isn't going to find anyone. Luckily for the Broncos here, they are able to continue the fight, though Clear and Strider are down. Axel having to pull back a little bit here. There might be a knockout otherwise. Syracuse using that to try and lock down on this area. Spot right in front of the spawn can be so nasty if your opponent is able to find an opportunity to hold it.
Yeah, looking to reset right now is going to be Boise State. They do have some ultimates available pretty much across the board. Container Rush is going to be used. Expect to see a bit of follow-up now coming out from Boise State as they charge for the site. They're going to capture the point. It is contested for a little bit longer against Syracuse, but Azer goes down once more. This is Boise State pushing forward.
And the Broncos were able to take it once again. Syracuse at 72%, but still ready and raring to go, getting that setup that they were not able to quite get from the previous retake, giving them a lot more room to work with, cutting them off and just cutting down the options for movement here, especially with Clear adding so many sentries everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to do about that? Just, once again, locking it down, using the new characters, Hardlight Barriers. We see another Deadeye go out. That is going to be how Syracuse uses to go around, but the sound barrier from the side of the Broncos, it means they do not have to worry so much. And I think sound barrier from both sides, actually. Just, I hear one, I will activate the other. All of the ultimates being used to hold down to this point.
Rough state for the Broncos. Hex got picked off, and without that support, it is a hard fight to get through, especially with the late sound barrier that came out from Syracuse. They're not down and out yet. There's still 20% more to fight for to try and stop Syracuse. So now they're going forward with this Domina, getting up the barrier, looking for more. Clear's pushing them back, but they need to get on the point fast.
Ooh, Clear goes down right before the spot, but the teleport is going to be up here. We see Lunar flying in the air. Maxwell looking for the confront, using the iceberg to hide, and I do hear the Diva ultimate go off, needing to hide away to not get knocked out here. Strider looking for a new opportunity, going to swap back to the tried and true, just knocking B-Dog into the wall, denying any room I think a combo there from Syracuse is going to hold the line on this point. Back into overtime, the Broncos holding as best they can. Clear trying to find that option. No one is left, and that is going to be Syracuse taking the second map here.
Yeah, that was a tough game coming out for the Broncos. For Syracuse, a lot of what they were able to do was create space, right? The Diva ult, it creates space. Suddenly the Broncos have to back off. The Cassidy ult, it creates space. Suddenly the Broncos have to back off. And through that space being created, it allows for them to take control of the point, hold it down, and the Broncos, they need to find an answer, and they need it quick.
Yeah, and I will say, I've been seeing a lot of that mirror matchup with the Lucios as something to continue to watch as we go into these next matchups. But as we're getting ready to go into the next map, I'd like to take a moment to thank ICCU for their continued support of Boise State Esports. Thanks to ICCU, Boise State Esports has won multiple national championships and piled up more than 1,500 wins. ICCU, looking after your daily balance, visit iccu.com.
Wondering when those wins are going to turn to 1,600, because been saying 1,500 for a while. We've gotten a lot more wins.
Oh, we've
then,
definitely piled up more wins than that. I mean, I'm sure we'll be getting to that 2,000 win marker soon, and we can update it and get to change our comments on that. But I think, yeah, I mean, it's a big part of what we've been doing, and we're looking to add another one to the pile today if we can. But so far, Syracuse wanting to try and deny that.
Again, I do want to commend the strategy that Syracuse came in with. Diva, as well as the Cassidy, using all of that to make sure that Boise couldn't really get onto the point and capture it the way they would want to. All that space created was really a challenge for the Broncos. That being said, capture the point is completely different from when we get into different stages of the map, as we see some of those
I was gonna say,
printouts coming from the fans.
I see some photos being held out in support of a certain player on the team here. But yeah, no, and I mean, I do think that when you're looking for that, they kind of challenged the Broncos play. Once again, just got to call that out. Sorry. No analytics right now, just appreciation of the photo on screen here.
Yeah, the man who knows ball.
The man who knows ball. Continuing, yeah, and, seeing that today, and we'll continue to see it going forward. But yeah, I would agree. This is we're talking about the mobility that the Broncos have. Diva is another one of those tanks that can move around like that. So it's not a bad answer to what the Broncos normally like to do. If Strider's going to be up in the air, Diva can follow.
And it will change as we get into different maps, such as like pushing the payload and whatnot, right? Where suddenly some of those tools that create space aren't as useful for Syracuse. So the Broncos, we do have a diverse playbook that we can bring in going forward. So it's not all out just yet, but it is a good Game 1 showing from Syracuse. Again, we got to see those adjustments come out from the Broncos.
And, I think a big thing, too, to call out will be the bans. They do have an instrumental, effect on how things can go. We called out Vendetta as a really strong part of the comp right now. Vendetta being banned, although doesn't, cement any difference in advantage, can be a big deal. So if we see a different ban go through, different characters, it'll continue to shape up and change the matchup, especially what the Broncos choose to ban for Syracuse as well.
I'm curious what will get banned in the next one. Typically, anytime we see a Vendetta ban, usually what follows is Wrecking Ball, just to make sure that they are going to play 2 games that don't allow for that combo.
Yeah.
To be online. It's usually going to come in by, the 3rd game, we'll get that Vendetta Wrecking Ball. But only time will tell there as we do get ready for the 2nd game. Broncos definitely not going to be out on this. Syracuse, this is why you always have to respect them. They are a very tough opponent with the way they're able to play the game. But we got the fans on our side.
Once again, we were talking about the matchup with all the people in the crowd, all the support for the Broncos here as we go into this matchup. We're not done yet. And, got to continue to call out. Love when people bring in the photos to celebrate their favorite people. But it looks like we're going to be moving on to Blizzard World for Hybrid. And it's not going to be the Wrecking Ball ban. It's going to be Diva and Kiriko.
So that's an interesting call-out right there. Diva getting banned away. I mean, this is still one of those maps where you can take a lot of high angles, right? You can maneuver around this quite easily. So I've seen in the past that there are so many different platforms and places where Strider will literally just dangle, like we saw
just hangs
in the
like
straw
a little
hut from the first game, you know?
Just like it's so funny because it always looks really goofy, but it's so effective if you can find those high up angles. But I'm not necessarily surprised by the Kiriko ban. That Kiriko as a character, ultimate wise. Yeah. That ultimate can be so big. We didn't call it out in the very first map for control, but when those sound barriers were going out, that was the same thing. I saw a Kiriko go out as well, and with the extra damage, the extra speed, it adds so much to that. So it's a nasty combo, and you don't want to always have to deal with it. So that could be an effector, because we've been talking a lot about the DPSs, and we've been talking a lot about the tanks, but the backbone that you always need to be careful of is the supports. Once a support is gone, it can shift the momentum of a fight so quickly.
Speaking of support, having a full house here, we need to show support for the Broncos. Make sure that they feel your energy, feel your love as they get ready for this game number 2. It's going to be underway in just a moment. And yeah, we are hitting the map right now.
Yeah, excited to jump in, especially jumping into the map. The company shout out for the game. Yeah, Blizzard World, as we get to jump in to the match. I'm excited to see. Hybrid is such an interesting game mode to be going into, and that's part of the fun, I think, for the Overwatch Best of Fives, is that you get to see a variety of the gameplay styles, and that does also change the characters. So another variable to look out for as we jump into this.
And some teams are stronger on different modes, different maps. It'll always make a difference going forward. And we want to see what the Broncos have for this one. I do already see the man
hear it. There
himself,
it is.
There it is, the combo. Vendetta and Wrecking Ball. This 1-2 punch that the Broncos have. It's going to be a big one for the Broncos. They definitely want a win right here, because if they get put on match point, that allows Syracuse an opportunity to ban away the Wrecking Ball and deny that combo.
And that
so you need to prove that you can win with this.
Yeah, you do not want to get put on match point. That's also just such a big mental pressure that you have to consider. So the longer you can hold out against the match point, the better for teams as we jump into this. Boise State starting on the defense, Syracuse on the offense. Bull trying to break through, and Strider all the way up front.
Knocked him off the map.
I was going to say, almost thought that, he was an attacker there, just going for the quick hoop.
Shades of Minnesota, where Strider just kept knocking off the map repeatedly. He starts off the game by sending Mac to the depths. And now, here we go, the Broncos getting first blood in this game number 2. Already. Strider is getting into it, man. He's going deep with this. There's so many different places you can move around and kind of find these nooks and crannies in Blizzard World, and Strider knows them all too well.
Yeah, and as we see, already jumping into the fray, going up against Azure, not wanting to let the Tracer be locked down, and going towards the rest of the team, hearing that the team needs some help. Maxwell taking down Mac, not wanting to deal with that Deadeye, and we do see some swap-ups in the team. Clear on the Vendetta, running around and looking for those knockouts. Looks like we're going to see a trade between the two teams here. Not any immediate loss in the fight, but Lunar getting launched into the air. That monkey not allowed anywhere near the point. Goes down to the combo here. And with Brigitte down, Saint out here, Syracuse needs to regroup and reset and try again next time.
And that was a big pick by Maxwell. He was able to find Azer. And once that Tracer's down, you don't have to worry about your backline being under threat too much. So that allowed the Broncos to just push forward and take the fight to the orange. They're not done just yet. Here comes Acer trying to come in once again, as right in his face. Strider's going to be there, but having to back out. Point blank with the Tracer is always very deadly to try and risk.
Now trying to take the upper ground here, but doesn't matter when Wrecking Ball is here. Jumping in, activate the mines, cutting off their options is Clear, running in with the rest of the team to try to go around the side, but Azure does get a pick on the Maxwell there. That could be rough, and we see Syracuse able to find their way on point, using that momentum forward. Lyric holding strong in the backline with Hex, not deterred, trying to take down the monkey here. Clear is out.
Defend the point.
And with that, Broncos are not able to keep their full footing. Nope, they're still here. Lyric, once again, continuing the monkey brawl. Strider and Hex go down. Payload is going to go through, but not without a good fight from Boise State.
Ooh, and that's rough for Boise State. It was the pick from Azure that really set that up for Syracuse. They got the sticky grenade exactly where they needed it. They found it on the Maxwell. Down a member goes Boise State, and now they're trying to fight back, trying to regroup, but clear falls. Lunar chasing down multiple Broncos. The Orange are going to get the better as they begin their push.
Lunar has no qualms right now about jumping into the fray. Winston so fast on that dive, pushing them back towards their spawn. That's going to give a lot of progress on the payload, but the Broncos now going to jump in. Strider back, getting some heals from Wu Yang, and now going to be able to jump back into the backline. Sees Brigitte, wants to be able to get that knockout, and Saint and Mac go down. B-Dog as well. The sleep is not going to stop him here.
Yeah, off of Strider, running interference on the back line. It's Maxwell who steps up, is able to pop heads left and right, giving the Broncos a great fighting chance. They will eliminate the Orange, and now the Orange are the ones coming off the respawn, looking to try and fight their way back.
Using the environment to their advantage creates a lot of good hiding spots, though Syracuse can do the same, and we see Strider looking for a spot on the turret. As always, going to have fun with those setup spots here. Now trying to go from below, they see where the payload is, and Clear is going to jump in and deny. Jumping over to Strider as well, trying to see where the team's going to go. Lunar using that to get up onto the bridge, going to be confronted by Clear, using that shield to try and create a little bit of room as needs to back off to protect the supports. Fight on multiple fronts from everyone. Not going to find the ultimate. Unfortunate, as it looks like it's time to go crazy for Lunar there. Monkey time in that payload, and with the Deadeye active, Broncos need a second. Don't want to let any more knockouts go through as we do hit the first checkpoint.
Yeah, tough situation right now. Lunar's doing a pretty solid job on this Winston of kind of pulling apart the Broncos. The Broncos really need to regroup right here to take the fight back. Maxwell has been excellent, but Lunar takes him down, and that's a huge loss. That's going to be a real big stagger death timer that the Broncos are going to need to wait on. Still going forward, looking for something's going to be Clear. It gets put to sleep and gets dropped. That is tragic right now. The Broncos fighting with their backs against the wall.
Oh, looking for a little death from above. Spot potentially going to jump down into the backline one more time. Getting a little bit of extra shield. Look at all of the health buff. The sleep is going to be nasty, and with the decay as well. Strider is not able to keep up, but the fight is still going on. Maxwell in the backline with Hex and Lyric here, holding in front of the payload. Lunar trying to create some space for Syracuse. The Broncos are not going to let that go through without any fight. Azure able to knock out Hex, and Maxwell goes down as well. The Broncos are going to need to reset here right before the retake, as this could be the payload drop, and we see Strider moving through. Wraith just going to try and hold strong. Just barely out of range. Maxwell isn't able to stop the payload drop, but now it's Broncos' turn to take a crack at the offense position.
Those all 3 points captured by Syracuse. A big factor was Syracuse grabbing this Ana and being able to put Strider to sleep multiple times. It made Strider kind of struggle to get his game plan out, where he wants to run interference on that back line when he's just put out, then poisoned, then focus targeted by Syracuse.
I mean, when you can't get heals and your supports are there, it creates such a disconnect for the momentum. And, you know, like we were talking about, you need to be able to stay alive, and that's not what the Syracuse players want to be happening right now. But it's now time for the Broncos to show off some shenanigans. And, you know, with being on the offense, speed is key. And that is something that the mobility style definitely tends to favor. The big thing is finding those picks quickly. They need to get to the payload, get the payload activated as fast as possible, because this is now a speed game.
Broncos need to play fast and hit hard coming into this next round. They Need to try and capture this point as quickly as they can. Get the payload moving. The Orange, so far, we did set them up as formidable opponents. They did get the better of us back in the fall. Broncos now with Clear on their side. Wasn't there for that matchup in the fall. Still finding their struggles, but they are not down and out just yet.
Yeah, and Strider jumping in already. Once again, looking for those important picks onto Azure starting off, and that is going to be first area with Lyric and Hex looking for an opportunity to jump in as the rest of their team starts to clear a path. Lunar going into this confined space. Nasty spot to be with that attack. Able to jump out as B-Dog takes down Clear. Broncos looking for a angle that they might be able to use to get through, but it's not quite panning out yet. The Monkey just jumping around, not letting them really break through that spot below. Might have to look at going up from the top.
Yeah, Clear switched off to the Tracer, so still trying to play a lot of interference on that backline. Lyric as well on the Ana this time. This might be their answer to the Winston, who's been very disruptive in this game so far. Still going to jump in, going forward, looking to survive this one is Maxwell.
Ooh, and there is
the pick.
Lunar and Mac down, and we see that immediate momentum for the Broncos here. Jumping onto the point, Strider looking to try and create some more space, prevent any interruptions from spawn. Looking, ooh, that's another support too. Saint trying to hold the line, but it's not going to go through. Saint and B-Dog down, 2 supports out of the way, and Syracuse now on borrowed time on this point.
And just like that, the Broncos are able to change up their strategy quite a bit, and it works out well for them. Getting Clear on this Tracer as well as Lyric on the Ana, it put a stop to a lot of Syracuse's forward aggression, and they're able to capture the point.
You could say they're putting a stop to the monkey business.
Yeah, the monkey business, man. He's not going bananas anymore.
Not with, if the Broncos have anything to say about it as we get ready to go into this next matchup. Also, Lyric able to get some use out of the long-range attacks that Ana has, as Strider jumping right into the fray, does get sleeped, but Maxwell following up. That is 3 knockouts that the Broncos are able to pull off, looking for the 4th. That is all but Tracer, who's now gone. That's a team kill for the Broncos, showing that they are not out of this yet.
Maxwell putting on the performance that the Broncos needed to fight back. He's on one of the new champions, the Emery, and he looks fantastic as he gets back-to-back kills, and this payload is moving quick.
What a crazy pull-off, getting 4 of the team that you're fighting knocked out with the new character's ultimate. That is insane,
great.
and following it up, Strider on the 10-player kill streak. Saint and Mac can't do anything, and Lunar has no backup.
Man, they bullied that monkey like his name was Punch. It looks fantastic right now for the Broncos as they keep the pressure on and they chase down this Tracer. Still not going to fall, but with the minefield coming down, it makes it hard to play aggressively. Broncos still bringing the fight.
Strider does need to back up, wait for a potential heal. Saint does knock out Maxwell, trying to run up with the shield, create a little bit of space, but just not a lot of room for Syracuse to work with. Broncos are going to have to back off a little bit, but with so much momentum gained, they are not going to have to be too worried, especially with Clear and Strider sneaking through, continuing the fight in these corridors here. Clear goes down, Strider's also down here. Maxwell, Lyric, and Hex looking for the retake. Going to probably have to do a bit of a reset here. I do see some ultimates coming online. A lot of support to look for that eventual retake.
Yeah, they still got time to work. It was a little bit tragic. Clear did get cornered, and there wasn't much place for him to go to get out of that situation. But all that being said, now the Broncos are regrouping, looking to fight back. Onto the point they go. Maxwell gets a pick onto Mac. It's going to be a big one for the Broncos to continue their momentum, but with Maxwell falling, that's going to hurt. Primal Rage goes out.
And that is a Sleeping Monkey, no ultimate. Going to get a lot less value, chasing Lyric down, but the damage already done as the Broncos sneaking the payload forward to that first point. Back out of the way. The Syracuse trying to regroup on this point right in front of the spot here as Clear looking for all those picks with Strider, able to just continue the cleanup. That's another player down. But Syracuse putting up a good front here in front of this point. They do not want to let the Broncos tap this. That would be a huge game changer. Lyric knocking out Asher, and that's another ultimate here. Looking for another team sweep. Ooh, the Broncos just holding that momentum, and unfortunately for Lunar, not a lot of backup when Maxwell is tying up the rest of your team.
Oh, and finally Lunar going down. Big picks coming out from Maxwell, but holding the point still. Syracuse doing a good job of that. The Broncos are starting to stagger these death timers of Syracuse, which is going to be big for the upcoming fights.
And a big thing to shout out is knocking out that Tracer. One of the big things so far is that when you are trying to contest a point, having a player that can teleport across the map as quickly as you want can be so good for stalling that out, and getting that knockout there was crucial. Exactly why we see Clear on it as well, and we're seeing those mirror matchups between the Tracers back and forth. They know exactly what they want to be doing. Ooh, Clear gonna get picked off by Mac in the corner. Strider up in the front here by the payload, trying to avoid potential knockouts, as we are going to take a quick pause.
Yeah, we might have a tech pause, some sort of issue that came up, but I think the hero of this game so far has been Maxwell. You know, pulling out one of the new characters, he's been raining death repeatedly down upon Syracuse, and that's when we've seen one of the kind of biggest moments come out from the Broncos. Yeah, I believe this is some kind of technical issue. You can see Doc Haskell, coach, stepping up right there to try and take care of that situation. Hopefully we'll get that resolved soon, but the Broncos, on these very aggressive pushes off of Maxwell's ultimate, have been making up a lot of ground.
Yeah, and I think it's actually interesting to see the new character kind of being one of the things to shake it up, because, before we got on stream, we were talking about the new champions, and one of the things that we heard was, like, they're fun, but they're not quite, like, overpowered or unexpected or anything, so
right here,
seeing that moment right there, it's like, that was not what we were expecting based off of what we were hearing, but I'm all for it as we, like, get to go into these matchups. Just such a cool way to shake up the momentum.
Yeah, we saw the Domina earlier, which, it was okay. I don't think it really served the purpose that the Broncos needed, but the Emery is proving to be very successful so far for the type of playstyle that the Broncos do go for, and Maxwell, again, I do have to keep highlighting him because his play has been phenomenal. It's complemented Clear and Strider very well with the level of interference they've been running. It makes it hard to see Maxwell coming from the skies. And again, as I said, he just keeps raining death down upon Syracuse.
And I also want to give a shout out to Lyric too. Getting that sleep off onto Lunar was so crucial, but tech pause is over and we're ready to jump into it. Speaking of Lunar jumping in, looks like getting a little revenge from the sleep, knocking out Lyric here as we continue on to the point. Both teams trying to find an opportunity, sneaking through the side here. Strider and Clear once again running into the Tracer and having to do that back and forth. They do not want to leave each other alone to cause mayhem on the opposing team, but I see Clear looking for the potential bomb. Gets knocked out by P-Dog, but does manage to throw it out as the minefield goes out as well, and Strider just running back and forth through their backline. Sees Saint, wants that knockout, able to find it and sneak out before getting knocked out.
Nice. He's able to get a health back all at the same time to be able to recover. Now you can see Clear taking this angle. Maxwell, back-to-back kills again. Maxwell stepping up. He's doing great work right now, and it's going to get that payload active.
Yeah, and you can see the change in team play right now. Clear switching onto that Vendetta, looking for a bit more of a heavy-handed approach. Great onto the spawn. Just going, no, you don't get to go past
like that.
And unlike the Syracuse back and forth when they were trying to land that point, the Broncos completely shut them down in their spawn and are able to bring it 3-3, and we're going to go into tiebreaker for this hybrid match.
Yeah, this was a crazy one to say the least. Syracuse were very fast in their round. A lot of it came from their forward momentum. They would keep putting a lot of pressure going forward with, Lunar, on the Winston, really trying to just disrupt as much as he can. The switch to the Ana, already a great move out of Lyric. It's able to sleep a lot of that ultimate from the Primal Rage that the Winston's looking to get in. And then, of course, the big one, the Override Protocol coming out from Maxwell to just shot after shot after shot, kill after kill after kill, taking out Syracuse. Now the Broncos need to be quick with this one. They want to be able to take this game.
Yeah, now they are competing against their times from the first back and forth here. And although Syracuse was able to get the faster time, they have, I think, 55 seconds on the Broncos right now. It's a minute to a minute 55. It's a lot of time, but, you know, Overwatch is a game where you absolutely can find ways to lock down that point, and it's exactly what you'll be seeing as we jump into it. The Broncos looking for ways to shut down in spots that they weren't able to before, but we're going to start on the attack. Broncos have a minute, and that is quite a small amount of time to get to this point and cover the payload, and that's why we see Strider jumping forward, clear, looking for an opportunity to do the same as well. Jumping into the air, looking for their first target here, and that is going to be onto the Max. Does get taken out by a combination of two, but Maxell swapping characters once again, looking for that new angle, trying to take down Lunar here. We see 30 seconds on the clock in the back line. Nasty spot to be. The team needs to find a foot on the point as they have to go through this middle point. Syracuse using that high ground to their advantage to get early shots off as the team looks to confront. Strider, however, looking to disrupt, as we see, going to try and go down. Instead, switching to go for Lunar, trying to get rid of the opposing tank, and that sleep. Lunar and Mac are down. Moving forward onto the point, looking for that capture and going from the back line. Satan is going to try and contribute, but right now on the overtime here, Strider holding it down, and Satan is out. 3 players down for Syracuse. It is Mac and Lunar left if they can find it. But the Broncos on the overtime, finding the point capture.
You needed to clutch. You needed to act fast. The Broncos get there, and they'll be able to capture the point in overtime.
The big thing now is they are on that overtime for the rest of this matchup, for this back and forth. They need to play extremely carefully to get as far as they possibly can. And we see here Maxell watching from the back line, clear, trying to create as much space as possible, going to jump up into the air. They do not want to let Syracuse find any way to knock them off of this point. Strider staying close, contending with Lunar. Sleep goes down onto Azure here. They do not want that combo anywhere near them if they can help it. Mac jumping into the air does get the knockout. Maxell once again just looking for those picks if he can find it. Ooh. And we see Lunar, takes down 2, but is taken down themselves by that 5-player kill streak, and the minefield goes down, creating space. Saint is out. Clear and Strider managed to hold on. The Dream Team right now trying to keep the point alive.
This is insane from the Broncos, holding this overtime for so long. Clear's running critically low, though, and he will drop to Max. Acer finds Strider.
Wow! Great showing from the Broncos, getting as far as they did on the overtime. Now, the goal they need to accomplish is to deny the distance that Syracuse wants to get. If they can get farther than the Broncos, that is going to be the game to Syracuse.
Worst case scenario, you don't capture that point. The Broncos not going to allow that to be the situation. They start off very fast in that round 3. They punch through, Strider going deep onto the back line, and even with some early casualties, they keep the momentum going forward. They capture the point, and they hold that overtime for a significant amount of time to get at least some distance on that payload.
Syracuse is now stepping up to the plate. They have pretty much a minute on the Broncos to accomplish what they did, and the Broncos know that, getting ready to find a way to lock down. Now, we have seen, though, how devastating this early hallway can be, and I would not be shocked if they are getting ready to lock that down as best they can. They are going to have to contend with Lunar and Azure, as that has been the nasty combo sneaking through, but they're familiar with it. They've been seeing it, and that is what they now need to jump in and get ready for.
Ooh, this is quite the way to start off. My heart is pounding right now.
Yeah, already out of breath. And I'm excited to see where this goes. Strider moving back a little bit. Not going to be immediately found.
We got clear on the Reaper this time as well.
Yeah, looking just for more in-your-face damage, it seems. Already getting into it. Clear going to teleport back up using that invulnerability as well that they have. Sees Azure looking for the knockout. I wouldn't be shocked if that's part of why we did the Reaper pick. Nice, quick knockouts onto both Lunar and Azure, who I was talking about could be dangerous to leave alone, and that's Mac 2! That's a team kill!
Clear goes beast mode. He takes out Azure, makes sure that Tracer is a fly that is swatted, and then chases down Syracuse. He pills the orange, and they will hold the line.
I mean, hey, pea shooter versus shotgun, who's gonna win, right? Like, that's where we're at, and I can see exactly why they swapped, but now Strider looking to make some waves, jumping down, hindered as the team immediately tries to lock him down, but if they're not careful, they'll get knocked out. B-Dog already out. That's a healer gone, and Strider moving into the backline, sneaking around. Clear looking for another opportunity, using those extra shields that Hex has with Brigida here. Lunar trying to look for another opportunity, gets close to the point, puts down a shield, but Clear is on the hunt, and with no healing, that's going to be a 5-player kill streak. Trades back and forth, but the Broncos have not let them really get anywhere near this point. We are going to hear the Deadeye go through. They're going to try and create space with that. Syracuse able to find a spot on the point, but the Broncos are still here and ready to go. Ooh, Tracer tries to go for that knockout, but Maxwell is not done. He has the Deadeye himself, and he's looking for the potential opportunity, but doesn't even need it!
There's 5 seconds left on the clock, and Syracuse are falling left and right. The Broncos need to hold the line against the monkey, but he is slain. There is no Winston. Overtime goes in.
The Broncos find a way, taking that second match. Insane comeback. They looked at that extra minute Syracuse had and said, that doesn't matter, we can take this.
Let's look at this play of the game right now. On a new hero as well. I know what this is. This is again that override coming out from the skies. 3 kills back to back to back from Maxwell. And what a display coming out from the Broncos. They show they are steadfast in the face of adversity.
And with that, I think we need to call out that today's stream is brought to you in part by local dairy farmers and the dairy protein they produce. Thanks to them, Boise State Esports has access to next-level fueling options that keep our players playing at their peak, just like in this matchup. Unbottled dairy protein that powers your performance. Visit unbottled.com for more info.
A big part of that final round was Clear switching onto the Reaper, and it's very easy to see why. The team is engaging on you. Typically, hey, you want to put some distance between you and a Reaper, but you can't when you have to act fast and try and capture a point.
Yeah. I mean, if you're on the defense, whatever character you pick, they have to confront. And with having characters in their lineup like Winston and Tracer that deal damage but nowhere near as much as Reaper, the person that's going to win is the person who can deal damage faster, and that was always going to be Clear in that situation. Having that quick shutdown for that first team kill was so crucial in evening the playing field for time, and I'm just, I am shook how well that went. We know the Broncos and how strong they are, but that is still so impressive to pull off.
Yeah, and again, those priority targets were really focused by Clear very early on. One of the things you have to do, right? The Reaper is really good when you're up in the face. Winston likes to get in your face as well. He found flanking angles against the Winston, and when you have the full damage of those shotgun handguns pumping right into that monkey, man, he's getting euthanized.
Doesn't really feel like a tank, you know?
Yeah, it's no longer a tank, it's just cheese. Cut right through him, no problem, and Clear made it look great. Yeah,
and that was such a big moment. And also just shout out on managing to get, like, the point on overtime and then moving forward like this, I think 60 meters. Like, that is crazy to do, because if your players get wiped even once, you're not going to have the spawn distance to get there. And so doing that and then immediately going in and shutting down the team before they get even any look at their overtime, wild.
Oh, man, this is a crazy one. And if you want to show some support over to our Broncos, hey, guess what? They have social media pages, man. Scan that QR code or follow them on Boise State on X and Instagram. That is Boise State OW. OW stands for Overwatch. They got fun content that they like to do. Daydream, putting a lot of work to get that content going. I know one of the content pieces we saw was a dance from our Overwatch players, which was a lot of fun. But you'll also get highlights, You'll get the schedules, updates, recaps, everything you need. Scan that QR code, man.
I will for sure see some highlights from this game, so you don't want to miss that to get to relive the glory of that back and forth. And with that, you know, we were talking about how crucial this moment was to deny the immediate match point.
Yeah.
And now we have evened the playing field. Both teams 1-1. Whoever takes this gets match point first and could maybe shut it down in Game 4. We'll see. Could go to Game 5 with the way that we've been playing. I wouldn't be shocked, but it's such a crazy momentum swing to be able to bring it back like that. And with all of that chaos, I'm not surprised to be seeing both a Ana and Wrecking Ball ban.
Yeah. I don't know. This is an interesting ban to say the least. Like, the Ana ban does make sense in terms of Syracuse's side and how much Lunar likes to play Winston.
That shutdown was so massive once we swapped to Ana, so I'm not
Lyric,
surprised.
Big shout out to Lyric right there.
Oh, yeah.
That was an intelligent swap from him to know how to deal with that Winston, especially the Primal Rage. If you waste a lot of time of the Primal Rage of him just taking a nappy nap, like, you're doing your job.
It denies so much, and you can also cause a just movement shift because you could be in the middle of the fight, get slept, the fight moves forward because of the payload, and then suddenly it's even more time wasted because you've got to jump around and try and figure it out. No, it can be so big, and that is such a crucial moment. I mean, I would not be shocked if Syracuse right now is like, well, we need Lunar to be able to go crazy on Winston, so we need to deny that on a play.
Yeah.
And I mean, same thing, we see the Wrecking Ball is currently getting a ban as well. So I guess, if anything, maybe that Ana ban was actually on our side.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's on our side.
Which would be the shutdown of Wrecking Ball for us, because we saw how deadly it was. It just, shutting down any tank, not a good time.
Yeah, it's pretty stock standard to ban Wrecking Ball, at least in one game against the Broncos. So, going to be no surprise there.
Yeah, so this will be a big one here.
Yeah, this is going to be a big one. It's going to be the first team to get onto match point. And if you're the team on the opposite end, I mean, that's more pressure onto you. That means you have to win 2 games back-to-back. You can't make any more errors. At least you get breathing room if you are able to get to match point early.
Yeah, and I mean, we can see for sure. We were talking about the Wrecking Ball ban. Doing a Wrecking Ball ban shows what Syracuse wants to do right now. Yeah. They do not want to let the Broncos take this. They want this to be their match point. But we'll have to see as we get to, once again, just continue to shout out the crowd that we have in the arena tonight as we continue just this awesome back and forth for all of our players right now as they are getting ready to make their picks. This will be a big one here. You know, we do have a lot of options for who might join the roster, swap out, or kind of stick with the current team.
You know, it's always nice to have people within the esports arena who are loud, who make noise for the squad, because a lot of times that energy feeds into these players, man. When you feel a hype moment and the crowd's getting behind you, that can just exponentiate your feelings as well, and suddenly the intensity is there. You're feeling locked in. That's kind of the case of what I felt in that game number 2. Even though things went awry a little bit early and Syracuse did get a pretty quick push to start off, as the game went on and we got those hype moments coming out from every single member of Boise State, that's when things started to change. That's when the momentum started to shift.
Oh,
to see the Broncos
100%. I mean, there's nothing more fun than pulling off the craziest play, getting that awesome moment, and hearing the roar of the crowd behind you. I mean, that's what makes, you know, playing esports in person so fun, and that's why we have the arena and why we invite people in. So now we're getting ready to jump up into Game 3. Like we said, this is the game to determine who will gain match point first. And both teams are looking to find it as we get ready to check in on what the matchups might be. I do see a D.Va in the background once again. Don't know which team that's on just yet, though. I think that'll be fun, because I do know the Broncos do use her occasionally as a pick. We saw Syracuse use it earlier, so...
Different heroes get different levels of priority on different maps.
Ooh, and I do see Zarya, yeah. Well, you know, in the last matchup I watched, the previous home game, we did see a lot of success with Strider on the Zarya for specifically push. So as you get ready to jump into this matchup, we'll be seeing how this goes. Both teams looking for their first contest point. This is such an interesting area of the map as we go into the first area. We are looking for that quick early knockout, seeing Azure once again, and low players looking for that knockout. Mac goes down. Maxel is not even out either. That's just the turret on the board, and that is a crazy knockout already. Early team kill for the Broncos.
That was a fast team kill. Blink and he missed it. Brilliant play coming out for the Broncos in this game number 3. They want to get to game point first. They'll get the push going into their favor. And a lot of this, again, it's clear on that Vendetta. Strider now being on the Zarya this time. Should be interesting to see how some of these ultimate interactions do come out. So now Strider looking to hold some ground. And it's crazy how quickly that D.Va mech is getting taken out.
Back and forth between the two teams here. Strider using the height advantage, but Lunar trying to even that out. Not going to work out though, taking a lot of damage. And ultimately getting knocked out of the mech, having to run around. Knocked out. That is Saint and Lunar down, just completely cleaned up. The Broncos not playing around here. Mac out as well. Complete different shift from the previous matchup, as the Broncos have found that secret sauce getting those knockouts.
So I don't know if you saw it. Maxwell got stuck by the Tracer of Azure. His turret finished off Azure.
Yeah, I think I did. I mean, hey, what else do you expect from Torbjorn? You know, when you're going to put the turret down, you want the turret to do something, and it is putting in some good work right now. Syracuse looking to start the next fight quick. Looking for that opportunity, starting to move the robot back, but gonna get caught in the trap. Strider has put, getting stuck under that bridge. They are going to look to try and sustain themselves off of Kiriko's ult, but it's not working out quite yet, especially Strider looking for that knockout. Doesn't find it, but is gonna follow it up immediately. Both teams looking for opportunity, and it looks like Lunar might be a little jealous of the Strider gameplay right now, trying to swap out and contest with the mirror matchup here.
Yeah, one of the combos I was kind of curious if they were going to try and do it was the Zarya ult alongside the Vendetta ult. If they would try and use those together to set up the Vendetta ult. Instead, they are used separately. Strider was just trying to hold the line more than anything else and keep Syracuse in a bad situation. It still works out in the grand scheme of things because they are pushing forward past the first checkpoint. Robot now looking to jump on back, but here comes the next fight.
Here, lying in wait. Maxel going for the ultimate, creating such a minefield of extra damage on the board there as the Broncos take that as the cue to move in. Sound barrier up to create some extra space. And that's another clear up. Azure is down, swapping to the Vendetta themselves here. Syracuse, though, down 2 players. The ultimate's used wisely. They are still making some momentum push on the robot, but what can you do when the Broncos are chasing you down? Mac out, Saint gone, and B-Dog following. That's a 15-player kill streak for the Broncos right there.
Yeah, that's some great play coming out from the Broncos. Syracuse are trying to find their own pressure. You had mentioned it earlier, it's the switch to Vendetta coming out from Azure. Something we haven't seen all series from him. It's mostly been Tracer play, but Vendetta works best in the hands of Clear, and you can clearly see why.
Yeah, Vendetta is a very interesting character we've heard before, and unfortunately, Azure is just not able to compete, and that gives Clear such a crazy run, jumping through those backlines, seeing all these low health players, and just going, no! Oh, with the backup from the rest of the Broncos here, Maxel and Hex, they are able to get another clear of the Syracuse team and continue to push forward. Syracuse barely able to put any distance on the board.
Yeah, the Broncos, they have momentum now. And Clear taking names, cleaving heads, all the meanwhile been fantastic on this Vendetta. Pressure now getting applied out of Syracuse. They do have that big cleave available from Vendetta. Not going to be the most impactful ultimate, but it's still a fight brought by Syracuse to start sending it back.
Syracuse finding that chink in the armor, but with the Broncos at 107 meters to their 7, they still got their work cut out for them as the Broncos are moving up right now. Ooh, they do get a catch with the gravity well here, but Kitsune Rush is out, and the Broncos are able to use that speed to move into the fight. Jumping forward, Clear looking for those picks. Azure does try to get an ultimate off, does take down, I think, just Maxwell's turret, and sneaking around! There it goes! Getting the other Vendetta, and an immediate knockout of everyone but Lunar there. Broncos once again cleaning up that team fight.
That is the combo I was waiting for. You take that Zarya, you make sure to pop that ultimate, put everyone in a bad situation. Graviton Surge sets up the Sundering Blade, and that's Azure's life taken.
Just so satisfying to see Ultimates combo like that, and they are going to continue to use that forward sound barrier from both sides, both teams trying to stay alive, but only one can. The Broncos once again getting a team kill. I don't know what to say at this point. It's, feel like a broken record, but I'm not going to complain about it.
I mean, this is such a joint effort coming out from the Broncos. What they've been able to do, Maxwell stepping up when he needs to, same thing with Clear, same thing with this Zarya pick on Strider. It's all ringing true against the Orange, and they're not stopping now. They're still looking to push forward as Saint goes down. Azure finds Strider.
Strider knocked out, but Saint is down as well. Trades that they do not want to be seeing here. Clear once again going ham. Lunar down, trying to follow it up, just continuing to keep the Broncos near the robot, continuing the push as we see victory is just in front of them. They are at the top of the mountain. Syracuse trying to contest, trying to find an opportunity. Broncos are going to have to move back, but this is the first warning shot here. They are around the corner, and Syracuse needs to find another chink in the armor, or that is going to be the end of the matchup.
Already going in, Azure finds the pick, but Strider's getting one on the Saint. Not having that Lucio is pretty significant for the Broncos, but still Syracuse, they're not going to go down without a fight. They'll be able to get the counter punch going into their favor as they bounce back against the Broncos.
Ooh, they are able to make some progress here. The Broncos can take this opportunity to breathe and reset. Hearing them move around, Clear choosing to be a little sneaky here. Just wait for the opportunity, sees the Vendetta, sneaks back, but the rest of the team is here, and we're gonna jump right into it. Seeing the Lucio in the back, going straight for the ultimate. Isn't gonna go through, but it is going to get some scare factor in.
All right, there's the Graviton Surge. All of Syracuse together. What's in the well? Oh, the Broncos get me through!
And that looks to be 4. Clear trying to find it, able to be dogged down. Saint the only one left, and the Broncos able to push forward. The robot running towards the end here. Syracuse gets one more spot. They see it. Luckily for them, they get that potential opportunity, but they're gonna have to be careful as they come around this corner. They get the Graviton Surge on their side. Look for that Sundering Blade combo. Strider not able to avoid it, but Maxwell not down to get knocked out. Putting up a great showing here. Although the Broncos are so close to victory, Syracuse is not wanting to let it go without a fight.
There's only a minute left on the clock, so even though the Broncos aren't able to close out, they're so far in the lead. Look at the bar right now over on the top of the screen. Syracuse need to find a way to match that if they want to stay in, and the Broncos with 50 seconds, I'm liking their odds.
Oh, 100%, and once again, we come around the corner, the robot looking to push for the side of Syracuse, but the Broncos are here and waiting, trying to go for the Vendetta, not able to get the knockout, but most certainly putting them back. Maxwell looking to create that space for the rest of his team as they sneak around the back, looking to try and catch Syracuse on the side, turret set up, and looking for that opportunity. We see that is going to be a knockout to Mac. Trades back and forth, but Syracuse not finding the way that they need right now. They're just holding against Lunar, knows that this is the big pick that they need right now. Not going to be knocked out, but Strider is still here, just continuing to hold that line, and with 3 seconds left on the clock, unless Syracuse can hold this robot at overtime all the way to the end, they're looking for a rough ending here.
Yeah, what did a lot of weightlifting for Syracuse there was the sound barrier. Sane has used that. That's not going to be on the table anymore. Lunar will have that Graviton Surge, but I'm looking over at Boise State's way. You will have the Kitsune Rush rather soon. Same thing for B-Dog. And now here comes the big fight. This could end it right now.
Ooh, the Graviton Surge is going to let them get a knockout onto Strider. Clear, taking out 2, 3 left. B-Dog out, Azure out, and it's just Mac with the revenge, of course, for the Vendetta. The perfect ending there. That's all the players gone. They managed to get to the point, but not to the end.
They held that overtime, but look at how much ground the Orange needed to cover. It was too much to get through the defense of the Broncos.
And you know, this is perfect that the play of the game is going to Maxwell, because I wanted to call out the hugging of the turret. All of those little picks throughout the game, and of course, this big ultimate here. Torbjorn's ultimate, it got a rework from its original one, but it is so nasty for creating that space, and we saw it used masterfully by the Broncos. Speaking of masters, you know, you can get your degree on a schedule that works for you. Boise State, yeah, for you and for anyone. Boise State Extended Studies offers a variety of fully online courses and degrees to help you get your degree on your schedule. Visit boisestate.edu/extended studies for more details.
Yeah, but what a great display coming out from the Broncos, especially in this game number 3. They're going to be able to get to match point first, which means they got a lot more breathing room on their side. They can take, they don't have to feel as stressed when it comes to this next game coming forward. They still want to close it out in a 3-1, but it feels like the momentum has completely shifted. They found the answers that they needed. A lot of it in that last one. Maxwell playing absolutely spectacular on that Torbjorn, as well as the rest of the crew really doing their job to get in there and take down Syracuse.
Yeah, just having that extra space, you know, you don't want to treat, like, you know, we treat every game the same, like it could be the end. But having that wiggle room of, you know, if we don't take this one, we still have match point is always a nice spot to be, especially, you know, we're breathless up here. I can't imagine how the players are feeling on stage, actively being the ones to play. And speaking of just all of the awesome action, once again, we just got to keep shouting out those who are in the crowd here to support the Broncos as they continue this series. It is always great to see people in the arena watching, celebrating, and of course, ringing those cowbells whenever something incredible happens, because we want to be able to call out and support our team.
Friends and family of Boise State, all here, all giving their energy to the Broncos. See Strider raising his hand right there over to the front row. That's been bringing out those printed out pictures.
Don't want us to forget what he looks like at all.
Oh, yeah, there they are.
There they are. Keeping the seats warm while people rest and recharge and get ready in between these matches. But now we're getting ready to go. The players taking their moment to breathe, reset, and figure out their game plan going forward.
Yeah. It's only one more game for them to get their revenge on Syracuse. I do want to elaborate that one more time. Is back in fall, Syracuse, they got the better of us. They took us out. We didn't have clear back then, so now it's a statement game to get revenge against a team that were ranked above. Syracuse, they do like to punch up sometimes, and the Broncos, they're looking to stomp down onto the Orange.
Yeah, and that is the big thing right now. You know, we've been able to highlight the growth of our esports teams over the season.
Yep.
That's the fun of being able to play this throughout the year. And as we're leading up to the finals, what better way to showcase that growth than to continue to have matchups that have gone differently previously and showcase how much different they can go as a season goes on. Though I also want to give the a good shout out to Syracuse that, you know, it's not a complete reverse of what we saw last time. The last game was a 3-0. They're still holding strong. They do not want to let this go, but that could change right now as Suravasa is next, and we are going to see bans on to the Cassidy and Zarya, not wanting to see any Deadeye. And, you know, I don't really blame anyone. The amount of times we heard it's high noon was insane in those earlier matches. And I mean, it's a big space clear, so another thing to just continue to see. And Zarya, very tanky with the bubbles that you can put up. And Graviton, well, my gosh. being able to just lock everyone in one place and go, no, 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 you get to sit here.
And as we get into this game 4, I do want to say it's very important for the Broncos to not only take this, but to show that they are in playoffs form. Next week, they'll be going against the top in the Ohio State. So you need to beat Syracuse, you need to beat the Ohio State, and you need to show that you're ready to contend for another PEC championship. It is a big match feel right now, and a big 2 weeks that we have to close out the piece.
Yeah, and it's a great spot to be. I mean, the Broncos have managed to beat Ohio before. In fact, they're the only team who has put a black spot on the record for Ohio. So if we can cover up the Syracuse loss last time and then go into the Ohio match, what a great way to go to be able to show that effort fully. But now we get to jump into Suravasa here for our next game mode. This is an interesting one. If I remember correctly, it's going to be Flashpoint on this map.
Yeah.
That is a very different one, and sure enough, Strider already rolling forward at the speed of sound here, trying to find an opportunity to sneak around, knowing vaguely where the first flashpoint is going to be in this big open area, but plenty of space to jump in to the action right off the bat.
Yeah, and already first thing to point out is Azure's back on that Tracer, so you have to mark this Tracer, you have to know exactly where this Tracer is and take it out if the Broncos want some success. Flashpoint already being fought for, but no one taking control just yet.
Seeing some back and forth, no knockouts just yet. Kudos to the support, it's keeping everyone up and going through, and that is going to be the first knockout to the mech, and then Hex following it up, taking down the Diva. That's a tank gone for the orange here, and a Tracer following. Ooh, that is 3 players down, losing your 2 DPS and your tank, and that is going to be a flashpoint capture for the Broncos.
That's what we wanted to see out of the Broncos. They isolated the Diva rather early. No more front line for Syracuse, so they put their crosshairs onto Azure. Diva goes down, no more disruption, no more chance for Syracuse to take that fight.
And Strider looking for the next victim from the side and finds Azure once again and jumps right into the fray to follow that up. Seeing Saint on the Lucio, does not want to let that go through. Huge picks from the Broncos, not even letting them get near the flashpoint. Just immediately cutting off any team coordination that they could have.
And right now, I have to say that flank was dominating. I'm going to call that the unbottled play of the game, presented by local dairy farm families. Perform, refuel, recover, repeat. Visit unbottled.com to learn more. Strider's flank was beautiful there. They did not see him coming. Usually the wrecking ball's in your face, and he just shoots down Azure.
Spain spot to be, and following it up once again, jumping into the fray, we see Lunar does not want to have any of that this time around. Going onto the point, taking down Maxwell, taking down Lyric as well, and they're going to put down that Kitsune rush. Strider is not going to let that stand, though. B-Dog and Mac going down to Strider and clear. Overtime on this first flashpoint, but the Broncos, with the minefield down from Wrecking Ball, are just holding back and forth. That and the sound barrier from Hex is going to give them a good spot to be, but, you know, Diva does not want to go down without a fight.
Yeah, too bad you're out of your mech for a brief second, because immediately after that, Diva is going to go down. Kitsune Rush now going to be used in this overtime, but it checks out. The point belongs to the Broncos.
Great spot to be in with the first flashpoint going to the Broncos here. Now able to move to the next spot. Get a little bit of a breather here for the fights, as it's not unlocked yet. That is part of this game mode, is you have to put your patient pants on for a little bit in between every point.
I mean, don't tell that to Strider.
I know, right? I'd say patient pants, and here he is again, jumping in, almost getting knocked off the side. Actually is. Maybe patience was the way to go this time around, going to get knocked off the side by Lucio.
Yeah, kind of taste of his own medicine, sadly enough, but Strider can get there quite fast. Wrecking Ball, rock and roll, he will get into the fight real quick. Oh my god, clear with the Thundering Blade!
That's a double knockout, and continuing to clear it up. Clear's like, what are we even doing here? Strider doesn't even have to do anything. He just watched that go down.
Double clear, double kill, excuse me, man. I'm so hyped about this dude. Double
I mean, he's
kill on the
moving so
Thundering
fast, you
Blade.
think there's two of them.
Yeah, and as you said, he cleared them out. 5 kills back to back to back. That is some brilliant stuff. He's a star-studded player for a reason, and he shows up as now Strider getting in the face of Syracuse.
Strider staying in the back line, just continuing to be an annoyance and reminder that you can't be too careful as Clear jumps in and tells them exactly why. That is another knockout there. Mac now on their own, having to wait for the team. As that's a great opportunity for Boise State to move up a little bit and go, hey, you want to get next to this point, but we're right here. What you going to do about it?
And Audrey, there are so many nooks and crannies in this map that it allows Clear to move in and out quite easily. That's what's getting him so many creative angles to get these kills. Lyric is going to go down early, so this is going to be a rough fight for Boise.
Boise State jumping in, though. Mac and Lunar finding picks onto Clear and Maxwell, able to turn it around just as we hit that 99%. Not going to let the Broncos take the second flashpoint just yet, but still in a very precarious position. And we see Strider lurking in the water right now, seeing the rest of the team ready to go. And going to jump into the fight following Maxwell here, who's trying to clear house with Sojourn. He is going to be taken out as Syracuse starting to find their footing in this area and push back the Broncos.
Minefield's up. We can get some work out of Strider as long as he can get in there. 15% does remain for Syracuse to take this point. The Broncos, they just need to get Syracuse off. And they'll be able to recapture it, claim it into their name. Here comes the Minefield. It's a tough fight for Syracuse, and it's good looking for the Broncos.
Maxwell winning that mirror matchup there. We see the sound barrier go out for Syracuse, and Boise State activating Kitsune Rush and sound barrier. Everything going out.
Safe down.
The ultimates both to 99%. This is do or die right now. And Strider, Maxwell, and Strider. I say them twice because Strider putting so many knockouts on the board. And that is the second flashpoint for the Broncos.
One more for the Broncos to take this series 3-1. And backs against the wall, the Orange trying to fight tooth and nail. But what do they got left when Boise State are looking this damn good?
And this is going to be the next flashpoint spot. And this is a fun one, way more open than the last one, and still some sneaky spots, but both teams are going to jump in. Going to get the knockout there with Tracer's ultimate there. Going on the back and forth. Clear does not care though. Lyric Pex Clear leading up on this as the flashpoint is going to go up. Broncos starting to get a bit of control, and we see a 5-player hero streak come out. Maxwell pushing
off the map.
That was crazy. Not going to get the full back out, but going no into the water with you.
Yeah, a little bit of a Spartan kick right there. This is Boise, and this is Boise State Broncos fighting and showing that they can rebound from these early rounds. And right now they are firing on all cylinders as they hold this point.
And now Syracuse wanting to try and get a foot on the point sooner rather than later. Going to move up. Lunar creating space for the team. Looking for those potential flakes. Strider is watching, goes to the other side, adds that minefield to the mix, and Lunar stuck in the box is going to get knocked out and cleared out immediately. Using that momentum, we see X! What are you doing? You're a support! Doesn't matter though, going to get 3 knockouts there, and that's a team kill for the Broncos.
Hex turns up the noise, and it's deafening for Syracuse. They can't make a play. And just like that, the Broncos 15% from a win. This is the last opportunity that the Orange have.
They need to be careful. You can hear it ticking up, and they're jumping into the fray, but they are surrounded on all sides here. Clear is a big spot to watch out for, but Strider still causing chaos in the middle. Kitsune Rush going out. Broncos using that to create more space and time on this point. Syracuse is able to capture it, but the Broncos still have a lot of space to work with here.
Yeah, I like this from Hex. He realized the fight was lost at that point, so he's going to hold on to his sound barrier, save it for the next fight when the Broncos can rejoin, recuperate, and try and take it to Syracuse. It's another ultimate available for Maxwell on top of that. We're not far off from the Sundering Blade of Clear, and this next regroup is going to be big for the Broncos. Syracuse will only have the sound barrier.
They might get Sojourn's ult, but that is not a great number to be going up against.
Sound barrier out.
Jumping in, sound barrier is down for Syracuse. They're trying to create that space. Both teams using that to keep an even playing field, but Maxwell and Lyric find it. Lunar is down, and the ultimate Sundering Blade doesn't find any, but once again, still threatening with that minefield down too. And Mac is out. That's 3 players left for Syracuse here. They continue to get the points
It's getting
up,
captured. It's
but
getting
the
captured.
captured is there, and we're in overtime. Boise State, if they can find this, it's the end, and Syracuse knows that, trying to jump in, looking for that opportunity. Lunar actually swapping to Wrecking Ball himself to look for that speedy spot, but he's gonna be taken down. That is, whoa, Mac out, and that is an overtime done. The Broncos take the flashpoint, and that is their match point.
Vengeance was on the mind of the Broncos. They needed this win. They needed to be in playoffs form. They beat Syracuse 3-1. Only one opponent remains in the regular season, the Ohio State, and the Broncos are in form.
Wow, 3-1. What a great battle between these two teams, and such a great way to lead up to the Ohio State match. Now, one game left on the horizon before the full playoffs in Las Vegas. And as we get ready to end it, at least for this matchup, I do want to give a moment to ask you the question of what if you could pursue college or your dream career while serving your country and getting amazing benefits? The Idaho Air National Guard, just 1 weekend a month, 8 months out of the year. You'll get tuition assistance, signing bonuses, healthcare, 0-down home loans, and high-tech job training, all while keeping your civilian life, job, and goals right here in Idaho. Whether you're studying, working, or building your future, the Guard enhances it all while giving you leadership skills and lifelong connections. Ready to have it all? Yeah. The Idaho Air National Guard is your pathway to education, career success, and purpose.
And the Broncos are fighting with purpose. This was a great display out of them. They bounced back from that loss back in fall, and they bounced back from that loss in Game 1, which was a tough one to say the least. It gave us a couple of concerns, but they made adaptations as time went on, right? We saw Lyric go on to Ana to deal with that Winston that was coming out in Game 2. They were able to get Maxwell on the Torbjorn, who kind of shredded some of these other games, and all together in Game 4, closing it out in a 3-0 fashion. That is some amazing stuff, to say the least. 3-1 on the series, and this is what Boise State is about.
Yeah, good capping off point for the battle between Syracuse and Boise State. Now, we are going to be done with the matchup, but not done with everything we have tonight. Stay tuned. We do have a Mountain West matchup and a little bit of stuff in between, so make sure to stick in the stream and in the arena, because we just got to continue to show why this Overwatch team is the best and having such a great time. So we're going to go to break, but we will be back, so continue to watch. Syracuse trying to regroup on point right in front of the spot here as Clear looking for all those picks with Strider, able to just continue character we've heard. Fortunately, Azure is just not able to compete, and that gives Clear such a crazy run jumping through those back lines, seeing all these low health players and just going, no. I mean,
rock and roll, he will get into the fight. Quick.
Oh my god, Clear with the Sundering Blade!
That's a double knockout, and continuing to clear it up. Clear's like, what are we doing?
Ladies and gentlemen, attention please, about to start the show, better take your seats. to 4 times the rewards with the ICCU Premier Rewards Visa credit card. It's the credit card from the credit union you love.
Scott Matlock, underrated recruit, has built himself into one of the best defensive players in the Mountain West.
What would you do if you couldn't fail? Would you see every setback as a catalyst to keep going? This is the innovator's mindset, because innovation demands daring. It's finding thousands of ways that don't work, and the one that changes everything. It's when your unrelenting spirit sees the world's needs and says, I will create something better. So, what will you do? Will you let your genius run wild? Give yourself the space to be great. Set your sights on something even bigger, because we know changing the world doesn't happen by chance. It comes out of the blue.
How's it look so far?
Right.
Comfortable?
Yes.
Times and places all in who you share them with. Joy,
I got in.
who you share it with.
This is a great view, so you're all about
Who you share it with. Hallelujah, hey, jubilee. I got a feeling and it's moving to my feet. Take a picture when you look at me now. Open outside so that everyone can see.
Now earn up to 4 times the rewards with the ICCU Premier Rewards Visa credit card. It's the credit card from the credit union you love.
My friends know me as Derek, but I'm also Master Sergeant Raxter. This is my life in the Air National Guard.
Since you guys have been in here, some things have changed. We've updated this place to be in its final form. New cabinets, new counters, all sorts of new stuff in here. This has turned into a place that wouldn't look out of place at an SEC or Big Ten football facility, and Dairy West has allowed us to have it here. We've taken a holistic approach to our player nutrition, and we're really thankful that Dairy West has made sure that our fueling station is the best in college esports and really at industry standard for any college athletic department.
I need to scratch my leg real quick. So you can still come and have a video to all of you. So I believe that as a coach, every video is like, you know what I mean? Like, bro, me? But I kind of demons actually. I got injured from that one last fight. How many fights on last point did you just call it into?
Scott Matlock, underrated recruit, has built himself into one of the best defensive players in the Mountain West.
What would you do if you couldn't fail? Would you see every setback as a catalyst to keep going? This is the innovator's mindset, because innovation demands daring. Is finding thousands of ways that don't work, and the one that changes everything. It's when your unrelenting spirit sees the world's needs and says, I will create something better. So, what will you do? Will you let your genius run wild? Give yourself the space to be great. Set your sights on something even bigger, because we know changing the world doesn't happen by chance. It comes out of the blue.
Hallelujah, hey, Jubilee. I got a feeling and it's moving to my feet. Take a picture, would you look at me now? Open outside so that everyone can see.
Now earn up to 4 times the rewards with the ICCU Premier Rewards Visa credit card. It's the credit card from the credit union you love.
All right, as I said on stream, we had a little surprise in between PEC and Mountain West. And I don't know about you all who are currently watching, but there's something interesting about this room right now you might notice about all of the Overwatch players that I have with me right now. And that is that these are all of the seniors who are about to graduate and finally finish their run in Overwatch. And right now, we're taking a moment to highlight everyone for their awesome play that they have been putting together and pushing for every single year that they've been a part of this team. So as a senior who's also graduating myself from the caster side, we thought it'd be a great time to just go through, reflect, and look at some of the awesome moments that you guys have had throughout this season and just kind of reflect on all of it, because 4 years, you know, that's a lot of commitment to put in, a lot of wins, a lot of losses, and a lot of recoups to have those ultimate victories, 4 championships, and a lot of crazy stuff going on. So we're gonna take a quick moment to just look through all of those and just appreciate how much effort has been put in for this entire team. And so, you know, as we're getting ready into this, floor for you guys to just have a moment, highlight all of that, and just look through all of the awesome moments and, you know, share your just general thoughts too.
Is it start with me or I think it's been, I guess I'll talk a little bit, guys.
Go
all right?
for it.
It's been a crazy 4 years, you know. I honestly am really happy that I got to spend the 4 years here. I don't think I would have want to spend it anywhere else, both with this program and also the teammates and coaches and everyone else that I've been a part of this program with. So really glad to do it with you guys. I hope we can end this year on a good note to celebrate the 4 years that we spent here. I want to shout out Mark for coming back. I didn't expect him to when I asked him. He is super senior himself, you know, but I'm really glad that he did. It's been a lot of fun, and yeah, just really looking forward to graduating with this amazing group of people.
It's kind of crazy to think that it has been 4 years, because like you enter college and you're like, oh, I got plenty of time, and then you know a couple days later it's like you're graduating.
Yeah.
Like, what do I do?
Never thought I'd get to play with all of you, because I was on a super senior roster. Yeah, that's true. You've been on all the rosters, bro.
Now, of course, as we're going through all the emotional moments too, we also want to take a moment and look back at moments from across the seasons and just reflect on those clips. So as they're playing in the background, share any thoughts, any highlights, any moments, because we want to see them. This is Boise State and UNLV, right?
Yeah, I have nothing to say about UNLV, but I didn't think that Perks were still in the game, bro. That's been a while, bro. I guess Perks have been out for a long time.
A year and a half now?
That's crazy.
I think so.
Hey, I'm killing everyone, though. Oh, we lost this match. Wrap it up.
Ooh, awkward.
Cut the clips. Oh, snipe. I'm definitely typing a match chat. Utah, excited to play with them again at LAN. Hope we can get some revenge there. It's cool that we play in these different leagues and we sort of have different rivals. Obviously, UNLV, PNW, Mountain West, and now it honestly was Syracuse at the start of PEC. I'm leaning more towards Utah. They're really good, and obviously they took us down, so I'm looking to get a rematch versus them at LAN. Obviously, Syracuse is a great team. We just played them. Great match overall. They took us to our limits as well, so shout out to them.
Just PDK left, and while he's going to get a little bit of damage on, I'm not here for that now.
Oh my god, look at us in the bottom right. We are young, bro. Wait. Who is that? Wait, cut the rod. Here we go get Jenny.
Freshman year for us, we were in ABC and NACE, and then starting last year,
his team for a little bit. He might have gone, or no, he actually just hacked them, which I was not expecting at all. He still has EMP for his next fight,
Laurie?
but that is not something.
My favorite. Yo.
Oh my gosh.
Not just that. No.
The Juno Alari backline does go crazy.
Oh my god. Big old.
Oh my gosh.
Huge
Ray.
On a tear on the Juno as the rest of the team continues to cascade through Nebraska. Swimmer dude.
Put your mic closer.
2 ultimates on the board.
It's okay. You guys aren't normally on the casting
We're not
stage,
podcasters.
So, you know, this is why, you know, I'm sitting here in this chair and you guys are on the table, you know, playing in the game.
Kellon Winston.
Is that a good kitsune from me? Those are rare.
No. As you can see, guys, we get to play a lot of different characters in collegiate. That's always a fun experience.
In their control, 80%. Not much of it. Many more chances for New Mexico. They probably got one more fight. Kitsune rushed up for Boise State to 0 ults for New Mexico. Probably going to be do or die here at any moment now. Lear gets eliminated.
Let's get you two to talk. You know, as the Idaho,
you guys are doing great
as
over
the
there.
Idaho natives, how's it feel? Yeah, we're the imports here. How's it feel to represent Boise State for 4 years?
Coming back to a university that my parents went to, it feels pretty surreal to be able to, like, you know, have a similar experience to them, except I get, you know, to also have my own experience here, which is really cool. So it's like familiar but different. So it's really nice.
I've been grinding to come to Boise since my junior year of high school, bro.
And when was that?
1990.
7 years ago. I love it here.
Boise's a great city.
I miss John Chosen. I think we should bring him back for one more season.
Chosen, if you're watching this, we're getting you back, and we're all getting our masters. Oh my God, it's your
my clip.
High school Chosen. I mean, since we're still on the Overwatch, where do you see him slotting in? Because DPS is also another role where Boise State last year. Tons of talented players. Where do you see him kind of fitting in? Does he have a specific champion? Let's say kind of caught Boise State, someone couldn't play. A specific champion was meta. Is that maybe his role? Or is he just going to slot in right away? Is how talented he is.
Right, so he is super talented. He's going to make a slot for himself instead of taking a slot. So we're not reloading him in and somebody else going out.
At least you've been playing in Korean for that
Subs
long.
get emotes, guys.
Of course, with
everybody sub right now.
He's
You
going
get
to be able to
emotes.
specialize on his heroes. We're going to be able to build comps around what
Rookie
he does.
mistake.
So, yeah.
Oh my God, this is.
Oh my God,
this was the dream roster for
Overwatch 1.
Maxall.
I miss it so much.
This is what Maxall was the star player.
Left and right will pick apart Genji too. Plato switching over, going to continue to use this as the true
Depends on the
Shimano
character he's
brothers.
playing.
Bagel
playing the
Mercy goes
DLC hero.
crazy hard.
Why are you taking Plato's signature Ash, bro?
Left and right will pick apart Genji too.
This was when I was benched.
I'm on Bastion.
This is when I'm not benched.
Oh wait, never mind.
Oh, I'm on Bab.
That's my 4K on Bastion.
I've recently found a new love for Bap again.
Baps.
No, that's my 5K actually. There's a kill I got earlier.
That's a penta.
Yeah, I won't do that anymore.
Also want to give a shout out. We've been having these featured home games for this year, and it's been a really exciting change. Having all the fans come out, fans and friends and family all coming out. Really appreciate that, and it sort of bridges the gap between traditional sports and esports. So I think that's a really cool change, and honestly, I hope a lot of other programs in schools implement something similar to that as well.
More likely to go
Who's on
down.
Soldier?
Lamp gets used, but
I can't see from that far.
just as I say that the rest of Boise State collapses,
and then quickly eliminates the rest of Wyoming. And I think that's what makes them. Plato has a transition there, although we have gone over to Sojourn instead of the Hanzo. Manlock is also changing things up, bringing out the Echo instead, so a little bit of air advantage. New Mexico tries to push past the first point, puts Bubble onto Zarya. State doesn't want to charge that one up too fast. They're holding firm. A hack goes on to Kel, and as soon as they say that, Kurama just comes in and takes out Clear. Another hack going on to Kel.
And our production has also like stepped up in a big way with these home games. They've done amazing things, and we're really happy to be a part of this program that showcases us so nicely.
I want to give a big, gigantic shout out that I've been asking for 4 years for Doc, for letting me fix the PC and work on the PC for my last year. I've satisfied myself for optimizing all of the PCs. I'm very happy.
Thank you,
Thank
Maxall.
so much,
W
guys.
Maxall in the chat, guys.
Yeah. Well, with that and a little bit of a trip down memory lane, you know, the season isn't done yet. We're not quite graduated, not walking on the stage, but we're getting pretty close. And so the Boise State Esports Arena wants to make sure that you guys know how much we care about you and how awesome it's been to have you guys here for all of these years. So we got you a present.
Oh, snap. Thank you. Oh, and a letter.
So that way you can always remember your time here and keep your jersey close even if you're not wearing it.
Whoa, that's so sick.
So
oh my
now
God.
you can hang it up on the wall to remember all of the fights
That
and
is
all of the
awesome.
time. What's
Love
this?
it.
We all got cards.
What
Do
did I
we,
get?
do we open these cards right now?
If you want to cry.
Uh-oh.
I'm a grown
That's great
man.
for the stream, so yeah, open it right now.
I can't read.
Wait, I didn't know it was senior night. Did anyone?
Thank God we won.
If only someone had asked to tell you guys it was senior night. That's so crazy.
I just got hit with the world could always use more heroes. Yeah. Wholesome.
Yes, this is very kind.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys so much.
So yeah, that is what we have for you guys tonight. Now, we don't want to take up too much time. We know that we have the Mountain West game, but we did want to take a moment to highlight you guys because, you know, the Overwatch Esports program is made of the people in it. And so it's always going to be different when new people, you know, come in and the old guard goes. So we're excited to see you guys in your next matchup and go to Las Vegas and fight Ohio State next week. But we're so happy to have you guys here and, you know, excited to have you all. So that's going to be it for now. You guys are good to head out and get ready to go back on the stage.
One love, Bronco Nation.
Bleed blue.
Bleed blue forever.
Let's go Broncos.
So yeah.
Scott Matlock, underrated recruit, has built himself into one of the best defensive players in the Mountain West.
What would you do if you couldn't fail? Would you see every setback as a catalyst to keep going? This is the innovator's mindset, because innovation demands daring. Is finding thousands of ways that don't work, and the one that changes everything. It's when your unrelenting spirit sees the world's needs and says, I will create something better. So, what will you do? Will you let your genius run wild? Give yourself the space to be great? Set your sights on something even bigger, because we know changing the world doesn't happen by chance. It comes out of the blue